Right, another breakthrough with this. For me, I am far more capable when I'm taking NMN than when I'm not. Let me give you a bit of a story. Um, if you've been following my journey, then you know that I've been taking NMN, nicotinamide mononucleotide, for over a year now, and I have definitely seen some benefits. They are subtle. Initially, you feel more, and then your body gets used to it. And then what I've discovered, it's often only when you have bouts of not taking it that you realize that you've lost the same capability that you once had. That's exactly what happened. 4 weeks ago, I ran out of my supply, had 2 weeks of not taking it, but continued in the same way that I do, pushing my body. I'm quite often engaging in physical activity where I'm quite often pushing the envelope, sometimes too much. That's exactly what happened here. On the Friday, I did my usual gardening job. If you know or have heard me talking about this, is a physical labouring job. I'm not really a gardener. I'm employed to chop trees, dig holes, do everything that's fairly physical, and I enjoy doing it. Quite often, I really push myself, and as long as I have a period of repair and recovery, again, you've heard me talk about this before, around stress and the positive effects of stress. Stress is good for us so long as we have a period of repair and recovery. So that's fine for me, those physical days, so long as I've got time then to allow my body to repair, to start producing more oxygen in the muscles, etc., etc. The following day, I then went and did the local boot camp. The problem I had with that is that when I do these things, I push myself again. I don't know how to switch off and dial it back a bit. And I think there is an inner competitor in me that only ever comes out of those sorts of sessions. And I find myself not being at the front deliberately, but wanting to be up there with everybody else. Now, that probably would have been fine had I gone home, spent the rest of the weekend eating lots, putting my feet up, having lots of rest and recovery. But what I did do instead was got home, shoved a little bit of food in me, but not enough, drove up to see a friend, and then we went hiking for 5 hours. And again, without eating and fueling properly. That was my mistake. Because not only on the Sunday did I feel really terrible, on the Monday I then contracted a cold. Bearing in mind at this time of the year, sun's out, I'm getting lots of healthy food inside me, I'm moving my body, I'm interacting with others in the right way. My immune system shouldn't be shocked, and that's of course what it was. I pushed myself too much. To add to that, I've been going through periods of stress anyway with work-related stuff, and so I think it was just all too much. And this is what happened. The body, as we know, keeps a toll, and it reminds you when you've pushed it too far, and it reminds you in the form of pain, disease, illness. So that's what happened. Now, I'm not saying, of course, had I been continuing taking my NMN in the 2 weeks running up to that I wouldn't have caught a cold. It's probably likely that I would, but there's something about this that allows me to push the envelope more regularly and not suffer because of it. So for me, NMN works. And of course, now it comes in a pouch, which is even easier, I find. Anyway, I prefer it. I quite like the taste. I like the fact that there's a little spoon inside. And for me, it's 2 of these. Shove it in my mouth, and that's good. I'm done. Now, another interesting thing to point out. Along with NMN, I've been taking this over the last couple of months, creatine. You can get creatine from a number of different sources. Protein Works just happen to be one that I think are okay. This is monohydrate. You might want to go for the Crea Pure, which is a much better quality. This one's okay though. It's still, fairly good quality creatine. Remember, creatine is something the body produces as well. And I've certainly discovered that again, I can push myself physically. This allows, during the time of repair and recovery, this speeds up the process. I don't lose muscle mass. Not that I'm trying to retain any particular look to my body, but I am wanting to retain the muscle to enable me to continue doing the stuff that I love doing. We also know there are lots of other benefits to this as well. Some of the research has gone into the cognitive benefits. I know that people are considering taking it for things like Parkinson's, Alzheimer's. So creatine is a lot more capable than we possibly think it is, but what we do know obviously is that it does help to increase ATP, which is the energy that cells need, and we do know that it increases muscle mass and it speeds up the recovery process. That, like I said, there's lots more claims to creatine. I don't know whether there's enough research to absolutely say for certain, but for me, creatine along with NMN really works. It's a really good combination. I've discovered as well, through doing a bit of research, a few other people out there are reporting really interesting reports taking both of those. I am also continually taking the TMG, trimethylglycine. If you remember, this is good for DNA health support, and also, more importantly, liver cleansing. There is a very, very slight concern that prolonged use of NMN might damage your liver, which is why Dr. David Sinclair, that created NMN, or discovered it rather, he takes TMG as well. Apparently the likelihood of this is very, very slim. Bearing in mind, David has been taking it for a good 13, 14 years. He hasn't seen any ill effects. But I'm taking it just as a precaution. I am also taking quercetin. I've mentioned this before in my videos that I've been taking quercetin, especially after my period of having COVID. Quercetin is good for allergies as well. I do get hay fever for brief periods. I'm hopefully over it. I had it a couple of weeks ago. It's good for boosting your immunity. So I took it during and after my COVID phase, then continue taking it. And NMN Bio, where I get my NMN from, I've also started to sell quercetin as well. So that's something that you might want to consider taking. This one is quercetin with vitamin C. I've also tried it with bromelain. And for me, quercetin seems to be a worthwhile supplement to take. My last point on supplementation, which is something that I always mention, bearing in mind, a few years ago, I've gone from somebody that a few years ago didn't really see a benefit in supplementation. For me, I thought that I could get everything I needed from good exercise, moving my body and consuming the right foods. I now know that actually it is worth consuming certain supplements. But a really important point, what works for me won't necessarily work for you. And I say that with regards to anything that I do, be it movement, exercise, meditation, breath work, etc., etc. You are on your own research journey when it comes to health protocols. Don't do what I do just because I'm saying I do it and it works. Do your own research, figure it out for yourself, and also experiment. With supplements in particular, I've taken supplements that other people that I follow have suggested are really good for certain conditions, and then I've found that I've had adverse reactions to them. So again, what supplements work for me won't necessarily work for you. The positive effects they have on me won't necessarily be the same for you. So it is worth doing your own research, making sure that you buy from reputable suppliers, making sure there's a good supply chain, that they've been third-party tested, all of which, of course, NMN Bio has been. There we are. That is it. My rant for today. I hope you find that useful. For me, NMN is absolutely worth taking, and I will continue taking it for some time. Evolution of Dave, signing off. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.